Chinese people frequently put their money in banks. This is one of the major reasons why China has the highest savings rate per person in the world. Data from China's central bank, the People's Bank of China, shows the country's total household savings have already exceeded 43 trillion yuan, or 6.9 trillion US dollars as of last September. The average household savings per capita was about 5,000 US dollars. Apart from that, the report also indicates that the country's household savings rate has already exceeded 50%. That's far more than the world's average of 20%. Over the past decade, China's household savings saw a big increase. It broke 10 trillion yuan in September 2003. Then in August 2008, it exceeded 20 trillion yuan. In 2010, it surpassed 30 trillion yuan, and by January of last year, it reached 40 trillion yuan. It spent less time to break each 10 trillion yuan mark. Previously, experts believe the country's high savings rate is due to Chinese people's savings habits. They just assumed that they were hoarding money. There was the assumption that the country's extremely high housing prices and less developed social welfare system forced people to deposit as much money as possible into banks for emergencies. However, recent study shows the figures were skewed. The truth of the matter is that China's high savings rate is not contributed by people, but mostly by the government and state-owned enterprises. As Nanfang Daily reports, a researcher from the Development Research Center of the State Council, Wu Jinglian, said that from 1992 to 2012, China's national savings rate increased from 35 to 59%. During the past 2 decades, the savings rate contributed by the government and the SOEs has doubled. However, by comparison, the household savings rate still remained at 20% over the past 2 decades. Professor Wu said that this makes the country's national savings structure totally different from other countries. In developed countries, household savings is higher than that of SOEs and the government. But China turned that figure upside down. The Chinese government SOEs dominate a major part of its national savings. This savings structure supported China's unique business development model. Relying on high investment and exports, China has seen nearly double digits in GDP growth over the past 3 decades. However, the high savings rate also distorted the country's economic structure. Since all the money is being saved by these institutions, the mass majority of Chinese people don't get access to it. Without money being distributed to the people, there isn't enough money for consumption. Now that China is looking to diversify its economy, it has become more apparent that salaries are far too short for consumption figures to flourish. As China Business News reported, there are many reasons behind the high savings rate. One of them is China's low income level and its slow increase rate. Data from the National Bureau of Statistics shows that in 2012, the disposable income of Chinese urban residents was about 4,000 US dollars. Don't go away, because up next in Money Matters, we're talking about the household savings rate. Stay tuned.